Hi friends. So the topic that I'm going to be talking to you today is something that we all know about yet we don't do anything about it. So this particular series of mine, though it's intended to help students, I'm sure this topic is applicable to almost all of us. So what is it? It's technological addiction. Now, what's an addiction? Addiction is the compulsive need for a substance despite its harmful consequences. So, why do I say technology is an addiction? There are certain factors that convert a behavior into, addiction. And I'm going to be listing down those factors, and you could check for yourselves whether you are technologically addicted or not. So, one, there's a continuous need for the substance to the point that it takes over your life. So, you have an intense desire or craving for the substance when you're not having it. So, check this out. So, you're having dinner with your family and you want to finish off the dinner as soon as possible so you can get back to your room and you can get back to your gadgets. Or maybe you want the kids to get to bed as soon as possible so you're left with your devices at peace. Or you're walking through the room and there's a phone lying on the table and you have this desire to reach for the phone without any need for it. Yeah. Two, there's an immediate effect on the usage of the substance. So, every morning you get up and you go through your notifications on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook, and you feel good. There's this feeling of satiation or gratification after going through all the posts. So it is as if you have to have your quota of social feeds on a day, right? And this is physiological too, because there's a chemical called dopamine that gets released in your system, and this is the same thing that is the reason for that feel good factor. And this is the same thing that happens when you drink, smoke, or gamble. Three, it's very hard to stop or you have withdrawal symptoms when you do it. So you tend to feel anxious or frustrated if you have not, gone through your phone or if you have not checked your phone. Or the fear of missing out, FOMO, has been diagnosed as a real psychological condition where people continuously crave for online social interactions without which they feel anxious. So there's this fear that you will miss out something that's happening out in the world, or more worse, you will be missed. Four, it causes tolerance in the body. So what does it mean? To feel the same effect, you need more usage of the substance. So you realize that few seconds of looking through the phone has turned into longer hours, or you went to the bathroom with your phone and you now realize that it's been a long time since you came in and you haven't even had a bath. So, welcome to the world of techno addicts. Technological addiction is as bad as other addictions like drinking, gambling, or smoking. In fact, in my opinion, it's worse. Why? Because there's no age restriction to it. You cannot legally smoke or drink until you're 18, but you find 4 and 5-year olds hooked to their tablets. And because everybody does it, you feel it's not a big deal. Or more importantly, our society has not woken up really to the seriousness of the issue. So you might have this social stigma attached to it. So you might look down at an alcoholic, but you wouldn't bat an eye if you come across a techno addict. So why is it bad? One, the most obvious thing being it's a huge time waster. So you don't realize how your time went by or how your day went by because you've always been on the phone now and then. So we human beings, apart from the time we spend on existential activities like eating, sleeping, working, or studying, the rest of our time is our personal time. This is the time we indulge in activities that are related to our self growth or our hobbies, or this is the time we take to spend with our loved ones, right? So, this time is something that we would think about when we are on our deathbeds. Now, unfortunately, this whole me time has been taken over by the screens. Two, there's information overload. So if were a student and if I were to ask you what is the one thing that you do to improve on yourselves, you'd most probably say, ma'am, we listen to a lot of or we watch a lot of YouTube videos, right? So this is equivalent to a student who is collecting and downloading various question papers before a competitive exam but has not found to solve any of those. So out of watching all those videos, what have you even taken from the video to apply it in your day-to-day lives? That's the question. So you have information, abundant information, over information available everywhere. How much are you going to pick is going to matter. So be it Corona or Sushant's death, you don't have to listen to what every Tom, Dick and Harry in the town has to say about it. So all that information is only going to make you more anxious and you would not know what to do with all that information in your hands. So too much of anything is not good. 3. Increase in sex addiction. So a survey says that the average pornographic exposure online is 11 years and this age is decreasing year on year. And another report says that pornographic websites get more visitors than Twitter, Prime and Netflix combined together. Most of the adolescents are sexting their boyfriend, girlfriend without being aware that there's no such thing as a private photo or a video. Cyber crimes are an all-time rise. And for most people, it is like, I came across this site and now that is turned into a compulsive habit for most of them. Technological addiction aggravates your negative moods. So if you're feeling lonely, frustrated, anxious, what do? You end up looking at your phones. And what does it do? It turns into a vicious cycle where you compare your life with that of your friends and you look at their beautifully curated lives on the social media and that sets in inadequacies or that brings about inadequacies of your life. So you end up feeling more anxious, more frustrated and more lonelier than when you came in. Technology addiction is creating attention deficit. So we are this generation that is always preoccupied, that's always distracted. We can never be in the moment. Compared to the previous generation, we cannot study or work for longer hours. We cannot concentrate on one particular thing at a stretch. Why is that? Why is it that? Of course, because of distractions and also because, and more importantly, because of these distractions, our brains have changed. So our brains have lost the ability to sit and concentrate at one thing at a time. You can't form deep, meaningful relationships. So when you have virtual relationships, the focus changes to hooking up short term instead of forming deep, well-meaning relationships. So you might come across and tell me that, ma'am, this isn't serious, we know that. But it's more so because your boyfriend or girlfriend will ditch you when someone better comes along. So you have commitment, trust issues. So you have hundreds of friends on Facebook, but how many can you count on in times of trouble? You can have fun with friends, but how many are superficial and how many are real? How do you know that, right? I recently counseled a girl who was in severe depression because her bestie unfriended her on social media. You might laugh at it, you might think it's very silly, but the stress that she was undergoing is as real as one might come across when he is losing a job. What can you do to overcome technology addiction? Number 1, understand the business behind it. Technological companies, they spend enormous amount of resources, time to get you hooked to their products. So they use the same techniques to entice customers in gambling industries. See, every activity that you do, like reading a book has got an NQ to it, which means your mind registers for a fact that you are reading the last chapter of the book or you've come to the last page of the book. So your mind and your body gets ready to end it. Whereas these technological companies of social media and video games work totally against it. So they don't want you to register that NQ. So they want you to be continuously using their products. One example is the infinite scroll that you have on social media. So without clicking, you can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So that means you're going to spend more time than you wanted to in the first place. So they're continuously updating their products that tap into the human addictive tendencies, like creation of a compulsion loop. That is why technological distractions are very difficult to resist, because they're created that way, right? So I remember this quote: if you're not paying for a product, then that means you are the product. So consider this: the most sought over school in the Silicon Valley, the Waldorf School, where kids of high level, technical executives go to, have banned electronic gadgets for kids under the age of 11. So it looks like more you become aware about what exactly happens behind the doors in the technological world, the more you want to keep your family safe from it. 2. Don't turn to social media or don't turn to your smartphone in the times when you're feeling low or negative. So every time you're feeling bad, maybe talk to a friend or write a journal or go for a good run, sweat it out, or even cry out aloud. These are better options to make you feel better than turning to social media. The most important thing, limit the use of technology. So how can you do that? You can't tell yourselves, okay, today I'm going to be using just 2 hours of smartphone time. That's difficult because of all the reasons that we've just seen. Rather, disassociate phones with certain activities. For example, sleep. A lot of students are, you resort to your phones while you're on bed at night. That's a very bad thing to do, because one, it's going to physiologically impact you as well. So it is like you cannot have 10-20 tube lights above you and force yourselves to sleep. That's not possible. So that's the same thing that happens when you're actually using your phone. Happening, you're overstimulating your brains when it should be relaxing. The other thing is, this overstimulation also affects your deep sleep. There are different parts of sleep, and the deep sleep is when your brain restores. This is when your brain re-energizes your body and gets your body ready for the next day's activity. So a lot of people who went to sleep with their phones would wake up tired despite having a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep. It's a vicious cycle. You might tell me that, ma'am, I was not able to sleep, so I took the phone. Now what is happening? After looking through the phone for 1 hour, you will find it harder to sleep than you were before, right? So pick a book, listen to good music, or write a journal before you sleep. That will help you better. Studying. So you might sit for study and you have your phone along with you. Maybe it's on silent mode, that's okay. But still, when there's a notification, you might tell yourselves, okay, I'm not going to look at the notification. But your brain has already got distracted, right? So it is like having chips in the house and telling yourselves, okay, I'm not going to be eating junk food. So better remove the distraction. So if you want to sit for study, keep the phone somewhere away, preferably in another room, preferably in silent mode or in an aeroplane mode. So when you get up in the morning, the first thing that you should be looking at is people who are with you. Greet them, or think to yourselves on what are the things that you're going to do. How are you going to make this day a meaningful day of your life, and start that healthy practice of disassociating your phones or your gadgets from these important activities like sleep, eating, studying, work, and family time. So when you can do that, your brain will automatically not look for the stimuli from the gadget, and instead you will start enjoying the experiences better. The other thing that you could do is use technology for technology. So maybe have an app that's going to tell you how much amount of time you spend on your phone, how much on social media, how much messaging, etc. So that will tell you that where you're exactly wasting your time. How fasting is good for your body, the same way you could have technology fasting too. So have gadget-free weekends, or switch off the modem for certain amounts of time during the day or when you sit for study, so you're not being disturbed. Or remove all the social media apps from your phone, and every time you have to log in through your computer or through your desktop. So create habits that work for you and be consistent with them. So prioritize real people versus virtual ones. So during the day, instead of being on social media, instead of looking at your Facebook friends, talk to real ones. It might be a long time since you spoke to your childhood friend. So call them up, talk to them real time, video call people. That's much better than texting. And also, when you're talking to somebody, prioritize and look at them. A lot of times we tend to ask people, how are you? And we don't even wait for an answer, or we ask it in a very rhetoric fashion. So listen to them, pay attention to them. And there are certain things that you will observe. Maybe they're saying I'm fine, but it's not coming out very honestly, or they're faking their smile. So you get to understand these non-verbal signs only when you're not plugged in all the time. So you can actually look at that person and make out whether they're feeling good or not, and that's how you help each other. Understand boredom isn't bad. Boredom is actually one of the good motivators for creativity. So only when you're not doing something, you can think. You allow your brain to go through the existing problems and find solutions to it. Only then ideas click. Only then you observe something in detail. Consciously accept that being left with nothing to do isn't a bad thing. And if you cannot be happy being your own self, then who would be happy with yourself, right? Lastly, you don't have to incorporate technology into every aspect of your life. You don't have to, publish everything that you do on a day. It's as if real-time experiences didn't occur if it hasn't been published in the social world. So you could go for a vacation and come back without a selfie, it's still good. And nature would still look beautiful if you look through your naked eyes instead of through your lens. So I'm not against technology. In fact, I'm doing this entire session on YouTube technology, but it's the imbalance of the overusage, and it's the lack of our awareness to the imbalance that's worrying. Smartphones, smart TVs, smart gadgets, let all these smart devices not make us dumb. Remember, we created technology and not the other way around. So let's create healthy technology habits and let's make it work for us. Thank you.